And by the way, I see Secretary Kerry and down there. John, thanks for letting me into your old house. Appreciate it. John has forgotten more about, in my view, the needs we have for climate security than anyone that I know. Thanks, John, for being here. I want to talk about that a little bit as we go into this.
Now, folks, stimulus debit cards have been approved by lawmakers, and these new stimulus check cards will provide some financial relief to people. $150 stimulus checks are actually going out right now to eligible people. So President Biden has a huge update on his plan to tackle inflation. Be sure to watch to the end of the video to find out how to receive the latest stimulus check, Social Security benefits, and SSI and SSDI. So here's some big news. Chicago residents can begin accessing a new financial program aimed at easing the cost of travel after months of higher gasoline prices that affect consumers at the pump. The initiative, introduced by Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, will provide tens of thousands of people for prepaid gasoline and public transit cards starting this month. There will be 50,000 gas cards worth $150 each, and a further 100,000 public transit cards with $50 preloaded, offered to city residents. To be eligible to receive the stimulus card benefits, you must be a Chicago resident and have a valid city sticker for your vehicle. Now, data provided by the City of Chicago suggests that the median household income for a family of four is $93,000. According to local Chicago news stations, 75% of these cards will prioritize residents in community areas that have higher mobility hardship, while the remaining 25% will be distributed citywide. Now, costly gasoline prices could hamper the United States' economic recovery if it continues. So central is the price of fuel to the household budgets for millions of people. With an influence of factors sparking the recent price increase, a quick remedy seems unlikely. The federal government is attempting to increase the supply of crude oil, a key component in the manufacturing of gasoline. That's in a bid to bring down the cost. President Biden has also opened up the use of E15 biofuels, usually banned during the summer months, to ease the supply issues. But in the short term, it seems like the effects of the crisis will continue to send fuel costs soaring. What are your thoughts on this, everybody? Tell me in the comments. Now, the White House has officially stated that President Biden will detail a plan to fight inflation and lower the cost for working families, and contrasts his approach with the Republicans and their plan to raise taxes on 75 million American families and threaten to end programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. A CNN poll released last week found 8 in 10 U.S. adults said the federal government wasn't doing enough to curb inflation, and a majority said the president's policies have hurt the economy. Even with the Democratic Party, just 7 in 10 people approve of Biden on the economy and helping the middle class. That is considerably lower than the 86% of Democrats who approve his performance overall. Inflation rates have been increasing sharply since August 2021 and have been out of the normal 2 to 4% range for a full year. The Consumer Price Index rose 8.5% for the year ending in March. And now, Jerome Powell said last week, it is our job to make sure that inflation of that unpleasant high nature doesn't get entrenched in the economy. This was after he announced a half-point interest rate hike to combat inflation. Still, people are struggling with rising costs, everywhere from the grocery store to the gas pump. Keeping prices stable is part of the Fed's mandate, but so far inflation has kept increasing higher. The GOP is already leveraging inflation to weaken Democrats heading into the midterm elections, as they argue that Biden and congressional Democrats have only caused the problem. Do you agree with this, everybody? Tell me in the comments down below.
Here, the rest of the day. Discussions have covered a broad range of critical issues, including working together to keep up the fight against COVID-19, to take climate action, pursue a clean energy future, build a sustainable, high-standard infrastructure, and to expand access to education, enhance maritime cooperation, and the breadth of our discussions reflect just how vital the Indo-Pacific and ASEAN region are to the United States of America from our perspective. And a great deal of history, of our world in the next 50 years is going to be written in the ASEAN countries and our relationship with you. It's the future in the coming years and decades. The ASEAN centrality is the very heart of my administration's strategy in pursuing the future we all want to see, and I mean that sincerely. The Indo-Pacific is an Indo-Pacific that is free and open, stable and prosperous, and resilient and secure is what we're all seeking. And that's why I asked President Harris to travel to the region last August, and that's why last October at our virtual summit, I announced $100 million to support for programs to strengthen U.S.-ASEAN cooperation. And today, I'm announcing another $150 million of initiatives to deepen U.S.-ASEAN relations and achieve even better our shared objectives. The issue of formula. We've done three things, and I know Jen Psaki spoke to this today. Number one, we're releasing guidance today to all the states the possible flexibilities in the WIC program, the Women, Infant, Children program, because they're very sort of strict guidelines that when you walk in, if you have a WIC, you can go and purchase a certain amount of formula, but you can't purchase more of it. The problem is the packaging issues are becoming a difficulty.
I know many of you are also wondering the status of the $200 monthly benefit check from Chuck Schumer. Well, Chuck Schumer has released a plan to provide more than 60 million people with an additional stimulus money. Schumer, alongside Senator Warren, have said that the plan would improve the lives of millions of people and stabilize the economy. And that's good news, everybody. This plan would give senior veterans and people with disabilities who have earned this benefit by contributing to Social Security with every paycheck an additional $4,000 over the next 2 years. And researchers have also found that increasing Social Security benefits have a large and immediate, significant positive impact. In fact, there is nearly a 1-to-1 ratio between the increase in supplemental Social Security benefits and an increase in consumer spending. So, President Biden definitely should do more for the American people and send out stimulus checks. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments down below. There is a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits that I want you to know. Continue watching this video because you don't want to miss out on it. There is a new proposal on the negotiating table. This legislation could actually provide every taxpayer with a $100 one-time stimulus check once it's approved. Now everybody, here's some facts on this. The governor of Hawaii has proposed $100 refund bonuses to each taxpayer and dependent. Gas prices rise and fall, and it's nice to know that many states are doing their own duties to provide extra relief for those that are struggling. Among the governor's plans, it's a $100 refund for every taxpayer and for $100 each dependent. The governor said he will work with the legislature to get that money into people's wallets. Now, he said that the state has seen a better economic recovery from the crisis than expected. Now, the governor's initiative would cost the state $110 million from the general fund. It requires approval from the legislature, and House Speaker said it aligns with their plans to provide relief for working families. The House Speaker in Hawaii said it's something that we will definitely put on our radar screen, and will consider it and see if we can factor that into the state's budget this year. Now, there is also another stimulus proposal from Senate Republican Mitt Romney that's to revive the enhanced child tax credits from 2021. It could provide up to $350 in monthly payments. Romney's staff said his proposal has not been formally introduced and is currently under negotiation with both parties before being finalized. Under Romney's Family Security Act, eligible families and children up to 5 years old would get $350. Monthly payments for families would actually max out at $1,250. Romney's plan also calls for the payments to be phased out by income thresholds. Now, although his proposal does not go into the specifics, most states that do have work requirements and programs for that require the benefit recipient to work.